Hi everyone, it's Andrew with River North Gym. Welcome to the next video in our mobility series. And today we're going to talk about the bird dog. So we see the bird dog being done pretty often. Most people know what it is. The problem is that it rarely gets done right. And when done incorrectly, it just contributes to the problem. So how often do we see someone warming up with the bird dog? This might be you. I'm not trying to make fun of you. This is just a common mistake that people make, where we set up in a position and they just start doing this, right? And it's just really fast. You can see their spine going into extension and flexion. There's no control, right? That's a really common mistake. I see it almost every day. The purpose of the bird dog is to build what we call cross-body control, which is basically linking opposite side limbs. So your right arm to your left leg, or your left arm to your right leg. Again, this looks mirrored because of the way the camera's facing, so just keep that in mind. The cross-body coordination pattern is vital for pretty much any athletic movement, right? Walking, running, throwing, all those involve connecting one arm to the opposite side leg, okay? So that's why this is important for building that pattern, but also then for generating stability, like rotational stability in your torso. So if your torso and your spine are not stable, you're not going to be able to generate any force. If you can't generate force, you can't generate speed. And if you can't generate force or speed, then you certainly can't generate power, which is force applied quickly or force applied with speed, right? So the bird dog is really foundational, both as an athletic or like strength preparatory movement, but then also in prehab or rehab for spinal health. Anytime I have someone who has low back pain or issues with spinal stability, the bird dog is one of the first things I do with them, along with like pelvic tilt and some other breathing drills. But the bird dog is absolutely stable. So if you have low back pain, this is going to be a really important drill for you. Okay. So for the bird dog, we're going to start in the quadruped position, right? Feet, knees, and toes on the ground, and then spine is nice and neutral. Obviously, your extended arm is going to be longer than just length of your upper leg, right? So you may not be completely parallel with the ground. That's okay. Just keep that spine nice and flat. And then from there, you're just going to bring opposite limbs off the ground for a half second, right? Just like that. Once you're stable, start to move them out. You're going to breathe out slowly the entire time you go. All right, and then come back in. You breathe in on the way in, and then the other side. Bring them off the ground, make sure you're stable, and then move. All right, this is actual about real speed. This is not just slow for the sake of demonstration. And come back in. Now as I do this, I'm trying to keep my spine neutral, right? So I'm still keeping this nice and flat as I go, right? Often you'll see this happen, right, with some sort of rotation. So you want to fight this hip down, and don't kick this leg up too high like this, because that's going to cause that low back to fold up, right? So you're just keeping that leg straight out, right? My foot is pretty close to the ground here. It's only a few inches off the ground. And then back in. And again, I cannot stress this enough. The whole purpose is just to move slowly and with control, and just kind of let your body figure out how to coordinate, where to fire, all that musculature in your torso, so that you keep everything nice and stable, nice and smooth. All right. So instead of doing 20 fast reps on each side, which doesn't really do anything to help you, just do like 5 to 8 slow reps on each side. I really like sets of 6 for some reason. It's just what I had my clients do, unless they need the 8 reps, or unless they're already struggling by 4 or 5, then I might stop them there. This is one where you're just much better at focusing on quality rather than quantity. If you want to add more reps, then just do it more often, or do more sets when you do it. But don't be sitting there doing like sets of 15 per side. There's really not much point to it. If you want to make this harder, there are progressions. I suggest you master this first. So this is the basic version of what I just went over. But also, you can even just go one side at a time, all right? Most people will not need to regress just to one limb unless they're injured. But if they are injured, then this is a good jumping off point, right? So you just go, same idea, but now you're just moving one limb at a time, okay? And then, so that's one regression. You can even regress to the point of just taking one limb off the ground just for a split second and then coming back down, okay? So those are how we regress. And then to progress this, first one, this is already significantly harder, okay? So regular bird dog should be very easy for you by the time you get here. Just take your toes off the ground and then go. And then you can see there I already started moving my hand before my leg because I have less stability on that side. because the toe is now not helping out. But again, same idea, nice and slow, keeping that back flat. Right, you really want to squeeze your abs while you're doing this. So anytime you're doing any of these bird dog or anti-rotational variations, right, you need to be consciously squeezing here. Some people say to pull your belly button to your spine. I'm not really a fan of that cue because I feel like it makes us do this instead, which is not actually, pulling your belly button in or like sucking your gut in is not, that does not create a strong position for the core. It doesn't reinforce your spine at all. So instead, you almost think about like, even though you are breathing in and out deliberately, you're like squeezing and almost like trying to hold the breath you do have left, if that makes sense. And that's why breathing drills come in really handy for stuff like this. Your breathing and your core strength are really tied together. So that's all I have for you on the bird dog. We can really dive into kind of the nitty gritty of breathing mechanics and stuff like that. But I think for this first look at just rotational stability and core stability, this is a really good jumping off point. So again, this is really good for low back pain, or if you just kind of feel like loose or unstable at the bottom of, like a squat or certain lifts, this also really help you. Again, this is foundational, whether you're, in physical therapy for an injury or whether you're, a competitive athlete in some sport. This is should be a staple for you. This is really great to pair up with like squats or deadlifts when you're warming up, just to get the core musculature again woken up and ready to handle, a heavy load. So again, this should be a staple for everyone. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them below. Let me know what you thought about this video, and thanks for watching.